Hey, what's up? This is NBA 3030 here, and this is in reply to a particular, I believe he is Finnish, a Muslim, because my sister Morg sent me a particular video, and he's dealing with some of the textual issues. But let's first listen to some of his comments and see if we as Christians have a leg to stand on textually. Well, let's begin his assertion at 123 of his particular video, and his name is Ed mubarak or something like that. Let's just see what he has to say, and let's just see if he can substantiate his claims, or if we Christians are in fact have no answer. Let's just see.
I wanted to basically challenge their points, and they were really unwilling to debate or speak about these things.
Okay, let's just talk about this particular issue. One, I don't know you, so I don't want to offend you, but it seems that you approach these particular missionaries and you wanted to debate them. Why? Well, it's because of the spirit in which you have. When I was a Muslim and I seen Christian missionaries, I wanted to debate them. I thought I had the truth, and I thought that that they were clearly wrong. But let's just see how you substantiate your claims as how you wanted to debate these particular Christians.
Corruptions in the Bible.
So you want to talk about corruptions in the Bible?
How can the Christians believe in the Bible that it's a revelation of God, a direct revelation of God, or it's inspired by God, when
you have a good argument right here? You make a good question. Why do Christians believe that the Bible is inspired, or is it inspired by God? I believe we have indeed valid proof, but this video is not going to provide the particular proof. I could, but I want to refute your particular assertions in this particular video you have here, sir. And you want to talk about Bible corruptions. I think your first point, your first contention that you want to make these Christians aware, because unfortunately many Christians are not aware of some of the textual criticism, or some of the textual history of the Bible. That's okay, because some of the texts in which you bring up, sir, are in fact irrelevant to biblical doctrine, irrelevant to who we know as who is Jesus Christ, aka biblical doctrine. These are irrelevant points, nor do they affect biblical doctrine whatsoever. So picking on Christians, but what many Christians fail to understand or fail to realize is that Muslims, you have a bigger problem. So it's a matter of what two do you want. Well, I pick the Bible over the Quran any day, because there was no man ordering a governmental issue of the burnings of the Bible, as it was under Uthman, who burned the Quran. This we do know historically. So, you want to debate Christians upon textual variances and stuff like that, or certain verses in the Bible which were removed, which historically is true. We're not hiding that. This is open. In fact, you even stated right there in your own particular video. Let's listen.
There have been additions to the Bible. And so I pointed out John chapter 8 verse 53 to John chapter 8 verse 11. It's about the stoning of the adulterer, where Jesus said that he who's without sin can.
Okay, so let's talk about this particular verse really fast, because some of the other assertions that you made. And so what is this addition or corruption of the Bible in what you think comes from John chapter 7 verses 53 through the 8th chapter verse 11? We are clearly aware of this. In fact, in the older Bibles and even in the minor, and even in our modern translations, we have a footnote. Why? Because we're not hiding it from the public. Because if it's not there, then all of a sudden we find it and we suppress it from the population, then you guys could say, well, you guys are hiding the truth from the public. But we're not whatsoever. Scholars are not. I'm not an archaeologist. I'm not a scholar in that sense. So I could just, rely upon the textual books in which they do print out upon these particular issues. So why do some scholars question whether this story about the adulteress, about the woman caught in adultery and they're about to stone her, why is this, whether this story should be in the Bible or not? Well, the problem is this. This story of the woman taken in adultery is found in the King James only, and the ASV, the New American Standard, and the NIV. However, the NEB places it at the end of the gospel under the caption, "An incident in the temple." And since 1971, the RSV places it in special print, set off from the rest of the text, as does the New Revised Standard Version. The Standard Greek text, the Neso Island text, places brackets around it, indicating that it is in no part of the text of John. We're letting the public know that this is not part of the text. So why do many scholars believe the story is not part of the original manuscript of the Gospel of John? We have evidence for it. And here's the answer right here. There are several reasons why scholars question whether this passage belongs here in the Gospel of John. First point, the passage does not appear in the oldest and most reliable Greek manuscripts. We know this. It's not in the Greek manuscripts. That's okay with us. We want to be faithful to the Greek manuscripts. Second point is that it is not found in the best manuscripts of the earliest translations of the Bible into Old Syriac, Coptic, Gothic, and Old Latin. Third point, no Greek writer commented on this passage for the first 11 centuries of Christianity. For 11 centuries, you don't find one commentary on this particular passage. Fourth point, it is not cited by most of the great early church fathers, including Clement, Tertullian, Origen, Cyprian, Cyril, and others. Fifth point, its style does not fit that of the rest of the Gospel of John. Sixth point, it interrupts the flow of thought in the book of John. John reads better if one goes to the right from John 7:52 to chapter 8 verses 12. 7 point, the story has been found in several different places in Bible manuscripts, after John chapter 7 verses 36, after John 27 verse 24, after John 7 verse 44, and after Luke 21 verses 38. It's just not in the text, so we know where this stuff comes in. It's not cited whatsoever for the first 11 centuries of Christianity. Eighth point, many manuscripts that included in John chapter 7 verses 53, and that's the verse, have marked it with indicating that they believe it is doubtful. And it is indeed a doubtful passage, because this is not in the Greek passage, and nor does it affect biblical doctrine. In spite of this, many scholars believe this story is authentic, so there's some people that believe it's authentic. It certainly contains no doctrinal error and fits with the character of Jesus and his teachings, but there is no certainty that it was in the original manuscripts of the book of John. We have no problem with this because it doesn't affect the biblical manuscripts. No, it doesn't. Well, it doesn't affect the biblical doctrine. And so the problem in which you have to pose upon yourself to be consistent is, well, the Qurans were burned. What benefit you think that would have done to the textual integrity of the Quran if these manuscripts existed? But and then later in this verse, I'm going to also make a comment upon the next passage you bring up, upon what you thought these Christians had no answers for because they weren't unwilling to debate. And unfortunately, many Christians are not aware of these particular issues. But truly, they're not issues, I guess, if you understand. Well, take care. God bless.